Is this on? Y'all picking me up? Oh, yeah. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Game Set Live. Another week, another show. And yeah, a little bit of news has dropped since last week's show. We have got PS5 Pro specs, and everybody's been sifting over them. And Digital Foundry even did an hour-long video because they got specs confirmed. And yeah, we're going to get into that. Yeah, I'm seeing a pattern from last gen on Xbox's side recreate itself on PlayStation's side. But yeah, I digress. We'll get into that. What you see on screen is Mist Survival played throughout early access on Steam, captured in big picture mode. And yeah, let's get right into the intros. The Venster, what's up, Venster? How you doing? What you been playing? What's going on, brother?
Hello, good sir. Not too much. Lately I've been playing Space Marines and MechWarrior 5. I actually just finished Space Marines yesterday. Really good game. The anniversary edition looks really good too on PC. And yeah, that game aged like wonderfully. It's like from 2011. Good time. And then yeah, MechWarrior 5, and then today just waiting for Dragon's Dogma to launch on Steam, which is in like a couple hours.
Oh, see, I was on the fence. I got the Xbox Deluxe Edition.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Runs pretty well with VRR.
What are you running on your PC?
Me?
What are your specs on your PC?
I got a RTX 4090 and 7950X 3D.
Motherfucker, you're gonna make that shit run at like 1500 frames per second or some shit like that, aren't you?
I'll at least get 60. That's all that matters to me.
My ass is stuck on a PlayStation. Shit. God dang. All right. Anyhow,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm just a step below Mr. Vinny on PC specs, so you know.
Oh, in case I've not reminded you guys, fuck you and fuck you, by the way. All right. They say that's stuff for the PlayStation.
I had to remind him that yes, I mean you do have 3D Vcache, but my processor's faster. Oh goodness.
PC
That's not bad. You get it at
wank that's
24
going on right
FPS
here,
like
you
a
know.
movie.
I just want to know who gets the cum shot. That's all. That's all.
Oh Lord.
Sorry.
Oh, and speaking of which, I mean, you already put it in your mouth. I'm talking about your foot, nothing else. Mr. Wise Old Gamer, sir, how you been? What you been playing?
Well, yeah, I am the wise old gamer, the man who brings the fun and dysfunction. Yeah. Been playing Final Fantasy Rebirth. Took a hiatus this week because there's quite a few things actually I was watching with a significant other on Netflix, so that pretty much occupied my week. I only get an hour per night to play because by the time I get home from my teaching assignments at university, it's like about 9 o'clock, and I got to get up the next morning at about 5:30. But I only get about an hour of discretionary time. So yeah, been watching Wonka, by the way. If you've not watched it, it was pretty good, especially if you like musicals. Watched Damsel, kind of very social justice warrior type movie. Girls
That's
power.
like the SJW version of what's that movie? What's that show called? Game of Thrones.
Yeah, basically, it's a slap in the face, but it was good. It was a good time. I mean, it's like, okay, well, whatever. And then we watched Quiet on the Set. That shit was fucked, dude. Like that. Like, okay, so I'm gonna age myself. Drake and Josh and all those things were my elder kids' generation, iCarly and all that stuff. And dude, like, I understand why this generation is all fucked in the head, because think about it. Like, if that was the shit that was going on last generation, and it was hard to get a celebrity status unless you made it on Nickelodeon or Disney. Yeah. And then now all these kids are like, thanks to YouTube and TikTok and Twitter, they're becoming like, internet famous overnight. So, those kids, when they became big celebrities, they couldn't handle the success at such a young age, because I mean, you're like, what, fucking all of 10, and all of a sudden all these little tweenies are screaming your name. But I think that sort of fucks your head. But now, like, everybody has that option. So yeah, I think that it's a very good
And there went Wizo Gamer.
Yeah. He just revealed he's a robot.
Yeah.
He did himself too.
Wizo Gamer, you have roboted out, sir. If you can hear me, we cannot hear you. It sounded like sounded like a T100 just took you out, brother. But while he's getting that sorted out, so I've been playing Skull and Bones. You know, I'm a firm believer right now in this day and age in gaming that the reviews are ruining games because luckily I played Skull and Bones before I watched any reviews, and I was like, wow, this is a really great game. I'm really enjoying this game. And then not noticing anything or really putting any worth into any of the things I did see, I watched a review on the game. Luckily, after I'd already been playing it, and we've completely lost Wizo Gamer. Oh, maybe that was a. Oh, he's back.
There you go. Is that him?
Sorry about that. Yeah. So I apologize about that, man. I mean, don't use Discord much, so it was my computer system's acting kind of weird. But
Yeah, it sounded like T100 took you out, man. From Terminator.
I wish, I wanted to go follow Arnold, follow me if you want to live type situation. But yeah.
But yeah, that's Amazon found out you didn't really break your mic.
Exactly. Hey, they shouldn't have such a good warranty. That's all I gotta say. I mean, highly recommend the Amazon warranty. Don't recommend Amazon, but I recommend Temu because it's a lot cheaper, even though it's fake. But definitely recommend the Amazon warranty. So anyhow, but yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. Been watching, but I've been trying to finish Rebirth. But I got a chance to. I am playing, waiting for them to release everything for tomorrow. I guess I don't know. Everything goes live, I guess, on their servers at midnight. So I got Rise of Ronin and what's that game called? Dragon Dogma 2 for my PS5. Mainly because I had those PlayStation stars, like the Xbox reward points. So I had I got accumulated amounts. It was like I got both full versions for like $100. So like both $80 digital deluxe versions combined with tax combined, I was out of pocket for like $100. Oh, I couldn't beat that. Yeah.
I've been contemplating getting Rebirth. At first I didn't want to get Rebirth on PlayStation just because the performance mode wasn't great, but now they released that sharp mode. Looks really good. So I was like, oh, maybe I will get it.
Did you play the OG 7?
No, I was born in 98. That was before my time.
What about you, KY?
Yeah, I played the OG7. Actually, the OG7 came out the year you were born there, Mr. Vinster. I do believe it was 97, 98.
Stars were just aligned. Huh?
Yeah, the 3-disc set came out for the original PlayStation between 97 and 98. Now, I'm basing this on the years I remember having girlfriends. And the girlfriend I was with at the time when that game came out, I think it was around 97 or 98. It was a year or two after high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's ironic because I was born in a barnyard. And
is that before or after you stopped playing with yourself?
That was during.
Sorry,
it was definitely during. Oh, but yeah. Back to I had already went into my intros when you bugged out. So.
No, but what I was saying was the reason I was curious about Rebirth, so if you play the first one, the first remake, whatever, they sort of were changing the story, but they were like Square Enix is one of those developers that love to complain about things they can't do. So before, everyone was asking why don't you remake 7? And they were all saying, oh, it's too complicated because of the HD graphics these days. It's very hard to recreate all this stuff with HD graphics and everything. And they finally bit the bullet and did it. And the first one was basically confined to Midgar, right? So that was okay because that was almost like a rail, not rail, but basically corridor. Basically, you just go down one road or one avenue. when you got to the second disc, that's when things started opening up, where you started to be able to traverse the world and walk around and go to cities after city. And I remember playing Remake, and I was always curious as to how they were going to sort of do all of that for the second game, because if they're complaining about recreating Midgar in HD, how are they going to recreate a whole world? And yeah, it's almost like it's open zone, not really open world. So that was, I mean, it's okay. It works for what they're trying to do. But I am also curious about the third game, because the third game is when you really got an airship and were able to fly anywhere. And that's going to be interesting to see how they sort of pull that off as well. So I'm just kind of curious. There's a little bit of a perverse curiosity. That's also one of the reasons why I'm playing it. Plus, they've changed up the story a little bit too. So yeah, but a good game nonetheless.
All
Good
right,
game
now we've got a late arrival, Mr. Fabio
Oh.
Amorim.
Holy fucking shit! Why
Fabio
Zone
So
Gamer is
Amarino.
here? Like, how long has it been since the last time? God
No.
damn it!
Let me ask you something. Is
Okay,
it
good
holy fucking shit? Was it holy before you started fucking the shit, or was it? Is it? Fucking holy shit?
Actually, no. Like, I was shitting before I was holding the fucking.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
basically.
God. The last
And
time
there goes the
that-
podcast.
the last time we had Wiseau Gamer on here was when we had Doom Cutie on. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
God damn, it's been a long.
It's been a
while.
long time. But Fabio, dude, how you been? What you been playing, brother?
Well, I'm good. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here. Or maybe not. No, just kidding. Yes, it is a pleasure to be here. Well, I've been playing some Halo Infinite because it had the latest updates, which fixes a lot of issues, and
It's
it
so
feels
good.
great to play.
It's
It is
so good.
really amazing. And like the
my
physics,
God.
it feels like I'm playing Halo 3 all over again.
It feels
with
like
the
I'm playing a
physics
new
that they
Halo. Jesus.
It is amazing. It is honestly really good.
The desync
other
is all
than that-
fixed. I'm not getting shot around the corner anymore. Like,
I mean, like, other than that, I've been playing some Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I'm almost ending that game. I've been playing some Dead Island 2 as well. Had some co-op with the buddies.
Dead Island? I've never heard of that one.
Dead Island 2? Dead Island 2? Yeah,
Yeah.
it got released.
Dad Island?
Yeah,
It's called Dad Island.
Dead,
sounds a
Dead
little
Island.
kinky,
Dead-
Dad
no,
Island.
no, it's actually like either it is Dead Island, DAD, or THAT. That's Island. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Oh,
I can go there
you're
and see a
playing
bunch
Dead
of
Island.
go there and see a bunch of men walking around with pot bellies and shit, and drinking
It's just
beers and smoking
like
shit.
and like the most amazing part is like that's Island, like it's the sequel. It's the most impressive thing. Like you just look
Yes.
at an island and you're saying, it's that island. So,
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
can't you beat the living shit out of the dads? Can't you beat the living shit out of the dads?
So the original game was called This Island, and the new one is called Dead Island.
And now it's that island.
Right.
Yeah,
The original
exactly.
game was called the Mother Island. You know, where you go
And
in
then
there
the-
and see all the milfs.
And then I mean the fourth
Next one's
game
gonna
was
call it Epstein's
announced.
Island.
No, like the fourth game was announced. It is going to be called These Islands. So yeah, it's going to just progressing
These
more and
islands.
more.
Ugh.
These are those islands.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ah, Jesus. But
And
other than that, come on.
And 2 years from now, they're going to call it Pronoun Island. So there you go.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Wow.
Fair enough. It's just amazing how out of nowhere we need to address the issue that is. Oh yeah, Fabio's Brazilian. He has an accent, and we are going to get confused by with some things that he says. Great. Other than that, yeah, I've been playing some Suicide Squad as well, some Forza Motorsports, and yeah, that's it.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like I was going into earlier, been playing Skull and Bones. I'm enjoying the game. If you watch a review before you play the game, you won't enjoy it. That's why I'm kind of against reviews these days. I will stick to the before you buys with game ranks done by Falcon, because they do a delicate dance around telling you everything you need to know about the game, their personal impressions, and they do this dance without giving you any spoilers. They're really good at it. And that's after watching the Before You Buy for Dragon's Dogma 2 has got me even more pumped up for Dragon's Dogma 2. And other than Skull and Bones, I have been playing the game you see on screen. I've been sucked into another survival game called Myst Survival. It's in early access on Steam, and yeah, it's just survival game. Virus turns people into zombies. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, you're immune to it, and yeah, and there you go.
Who could have guessed?
Yeah.
Wow, that story never occurred before.
Never.
I never saw it before. Like you mean to tell me that the playable character is immune to the zombie virus?
That's
Holy
right.
shit.
You don't ever get turned into a zombie. You just die from them. Yeah,
It is amazing.
it is.
It's such
it's amazing.
a revolutionary concept.
Yeah.
mean,
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, wow. that wow was so good right now.
if you're new to the channel, give the video a like, share it out on social media, and yeah, sub up for more great episodes of GameSet Live every week. And gonna get into our first topic.
Just
Yeah.
ignore the last episodes where we just lost the track.
I
of
don't know
sanity
what
there,
happened to
but
that last episode. The last episode,
I mean,
YouTube for some reason cut off the whole first half of the episode and the whole last half of the episode, and all you got was right in the middle. And so you start watching it, and you're like, "What's going on here?" And then you get through that, and you're like, "It just stopped." Yeah, even
wait,
Thimber.
it didn't bring back. It didn't bring back.
No, it didn't put it back together like it usually does. So, but yeah, if you want to hear
Fuck's
the
sake.
full episode from last week, it is available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Pocket Cast, and Amazon Music. So go search for it wherever you listen to your podcast. Episode 82,
mean-
whole thing's there. Yeah,
I mean, Bob, like both of us, we lost sanity when we were doing that show. Honestly, you remember the shit we were talking about?
oh yeah, we lost our
Jesus
minds.
Christ.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so maybe it was a good thing for them to just cut the beginning and the ending. Maybe, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, PS5 Pro is real. Shooting for a
Is it?
release window of this winter, and yeah, it's they're touting some really big numbers as far as teraflops go. But like Digital Foundry said in their video, I encourage everybody to go watch it. They said that the teraflops don't really tell the full story when you're changing architectures on your GPUs. We saw that when they went from RDNA to RDNA 2, and we're seeing that from RDNA 2 to RDNA 3. There's this huge leap in floating point performance, and you can't go by teraflops anymore. And yeah,
You mean the flops don't matter?
no,
I mean,
Doesn't it translate to like 16
yeah,
teraflops with ray tracing performance?
yeah, like
something like
I
that.
was about to say that, like, let's be honest, it's not going to be 33 teraflops. It makes no sense for Sony, considering the situation where they said that we're losing money. We need to make some. We need to change our strategy to gain more money to work on smaller projects, and like the thing that they are going to be doing is a console with 33 teraflops, 2 to 3 times more power into ray tracing, as well as other stuff, and it's going to be, and people think it's going to be $499.
No, it's
Seriously?
not. No, 99.
Like, it's not if it was 33 teraflops, I actually don't believe in Cold Eastwood either, like saying that it's going to be at maximum like 600. No, it's going to be more. It makes no sense for them to, because like the console would be so much more powerful than what we have in store there, that they wouldn't want to put a price tag that will make them lose that much money. They already lose money by selling the PlayStation 5 the way it is. as well as Microsoft loses money selling the Xbox Series X and S for the price tag that it already is. That's the business model. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make something that is going to make you lose more money. So the price is going to be bigger, of course.
I don't
Well,
think it's gonna launch with the disk drive. I think that's how they're gonna save money.
It's going to be digital. You think it's going to be digital?
I think it'll have like you'll be
Well,
able to.
no, that's confirmed. That is actually confirmed. I watched this
It's
guy named
digital,
Red Gaming Tech.
seriously.
Red Gaming Tech said that, and I think it was another somebody else. Who's that guy who comes out all the time on Twitter and either supports or denies everything? Oh God, he's an
Morris
insider.
Law's
Tom
dead,
something.
or
Tom something. I don't know. I keep forgetting. His
oh,
last
Tom
name.
Henderson. Tom
Tom Henderson said that it's going to have a removable disk drive akin to the PS5 Slim. And here's the thing, right? You guys are saying that it's not going to be $499 for what they are proposally packing. My thing is, I think Sony has been burned by that $599 number so bad that there is no way they're going to touch that $599. It might be $549, it might be $649, but there's definitely not going to be $599. So I do believe it's going to be more money because they are charging, even for the PS Slim or PS5, they were initially, they went up in price and made it $550. I think that's where they want their console to be, but I think they are very hesitant with that $599 number because of the PS3 era. I mean, one could say people, the generation now probably doesn't remember it because they were not born, but I think that, yeah, they're not.
I thought the PS3 was $699.
It was.
No, the PS. No, it was. Remember, it was like $599 for the one that got full backwards compatibility. It was the 60 gigabyte model, I think it was. At least in the United States, it was $599.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
they
just
got
remember the get two jobs thing.
yeah, get you. You know, people will get another job because they want the console type situation, right? So
We don't
yeah,
make consoles
yeah,
for
like-
people.
It would be an honor for them to work twice as much harder for them to acquire a PS3.
yeah. Can
I
Ken
think-
continue?
I think under 650 is very doable though from the specs that they released.
Which one? Which price tag? Sorry, can you repeat
Under
that?
650 USD.
I don't
So
know.
maybe like 550, maybe 6.
No, I don't think it's going to be 5. I think it's going to be more than that.
I think you're right. I think it's gonna be $499 without the disk drive and $549 with the disk drive. I bet they're gonna have two SKUs like they did here. They're gonna have one SKU without the detachable and.
Oh, wait.
with the
Are we considering that we are going to be having a console with 43 teraflops, or is it going to be the 16 teraflops that became 14
Well,
teraflops right
It's
after that?
33 teraflops raster. It's 16 with ray tracing performance, which is what is calculated with the Series X and PS5. So that's about 45% increase from
Correct.
which is on point with what everyone's been saying.
But
I don't know. I still think that this is not going to be that low, honestly.
But see, the thing that bothers me is like these companies are chasing after this ray tracing because ray tracing is easier to sell than frame rate, right? We as gamers like a higher frame rate, but across the board, everyone who's looked at these specs, be it Red Gaming Tech or Digital Foundry and stuff, they said the CPU is still pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So anything
10%
that's
higher. 10%
Right.
improved, right?
right, and but
Right.
either way, you're not getting if you're not running if your PS5 is struggling to hit 60, is not going to be a big difference with the PS5 Pro when it comes to frames per second, from what I heard.
correct.
And
It'll just be resolution and visual fidelity.
Yeah. So we're basically we're seeing Sony repeat the same thing that Xbox did with the One X. We're going up in
Basically, it's
teraflops,
going to be like
but we're still rocking the same processor with a 10%
But,
up.
you know, if they change the CPU, right? If they change the CPU and they change the GPU, then you might as well bite the bullet and call that bitch a 6. Right.
Yeah,
like
it would be. Yeah.
then it's just a matter of semantics. You calling this a PS5 Pro versus well, what makes it a freaking PS5 Pro and not a 6, you know? So yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons, and of course cost cutting, because if they're putting that type of GPU in it, it's probably costing them a pretty penny. And as you said earlier, they're already hemorrhaging money, and they don't want to go in with a new CPU and a new GPU, and then they have the headache of, okay, now we're going to have to find a way of taking all of these games and you putting in a backwards compatibility patch because you got a new CPU. So
And like, take into consideration, this is my opinion, honestly, that these mid-gen refreshes, where you end up doing in the middle of the generation or quote unquote at the ending of the generation, because considering the generation that we are in right now, like these mid-gen refreshes, they are, I think I consider them kind of niche, something niche like, because it's not every single user that bought the PlayStation 5 before that is going to buy this mid-gen refresh. The same way as it wasn't every single Xbox One user that bought the One X. That's not the situation that it happened. Like, you're not going to, I don't think you're going to sell as many PS5 Pros just like you sold as many PS5 fats or slims, as well as you're not going to sell as many PS5 Pros compared to PS4s. So like, they need to be very careful with how much they are going to spend in this technology for them to at least not have such a big loss of money, considering all the shit that has been happening with Sony.
Yeah.
well, it's not just all the shit that happened with Sony. I think what the understanding is this, right? You got with the PS5, with PS4, right? How many consoles did it sell? Like it's over 140 million, right?
100, yeah, it was absurd.
Yeah, it's 140. I think that's pretty much what you are maxing out at when it comes to console sales anyways. I mean, you look at the Switch, it was like 140 million. I mean, the only platform or console that sold more than either of those was the
PS2.
PS.
Yeah.
But the
That was
generation was
a-
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like in terms of, because you had pirate games, that's considered like.
Let's not
what we were
forget.
able to do.
Let's not forget either. A lot of the PS2s, not the majority of them, but a lot of them were bought because at the time you could get a PS2 cheaper than you could get a DVD player. So there were a lot of people going that
True.
avenue to play DVDs, and that was it. And maybe
It's
they
just-
dabbled in gaming a little bit. So,
Yeah, and that was their approach for the PS3. That if we put the DVD sold the PS2, the Blu-ray was going to sell the PS3, and did not reciprocate that whole situation, especially with the cell processor, the price that they went up with. Too,
Right.
so no, but also back then, there were not that many. There was modalities of playing games. Now, I mean, you look at it like you could play your game on your phone, you could play your game on a PC, you could play your game on these games on like a Steam Deck and stuff like that. So that is slowly chipping away from that traditional console market. And people are looking at that type of stuff and say, look, I can get myself a Steam Deck, and I can and PlayStation games for the most part are going to be on there. Xbox games for the most part are going to be on there. Well, for 100% is going to be on there. So why sit there and buy a dedicated box that plays only PlayStation games when I can get a Steam Deck and it sort of scratches all itches at one time, So
yeah.
I think gone are the days of the 150 plus. I mean, you were hitting the max, and I don't think and what's going to happen is this: they're going to release this during June. They're going to announce this shit during June during their showcase, and it's going to be pretty little graphics, and people are going to say, "Ooh, pretty picture! Oh, I want pretty picture." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, well, fork over $500 for a pretty picture," and people are going to be like, "Huh, take my money," So.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
but like, it's going to be some people, in my opinion, it's going to be some people that's going to be saying something like that, because like, if we consider that the PS5, so because like the ideal world would be like all the users that bought a PS4, they are all going to go to PS5 as well. That wasn't the case. Like, the generation hasn't ended yet, but let's be honest, it's not, the PS5 is selling really well, that's a fact, but it's not selling as good as the PS4 once did. And the PS5 Pro, I think it is going to sell, but not as well as the PS5, the original PS5. Because when you take into consideration the upgrades that you are going to be having, like imagine how many people are right now thinking that with the PS5 Pro, you are going to play GTA 6 at 60 FPS, 4K 60 FPS.
And that's
Then
why they're
as
releasing it.
you
You know that, right?
it did-
You know that,
it
right?
did-
That's why they're releasing it so that they have a new console or the most powerful console available when that game goes live. Because that game is going to be a fucking juggernaut. That game
like
is
it,
going to
but-
even push Call of Duty to the side. You know, that game is going to do fucking bonkers.
Oh yeah,
numbers.
GTA is going to
Yeah.
GTA is going to dominate the world the same way as Skyrim did once, as Fallout 4 did as well, as GTA 5 did, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's The Witcher 3. Yeah, of course. I
Well, that's
agree
what
with
they
that.
want. They
But,
want
like,
to be able to say,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
the best place to play it. You can't play it on PC.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
yeah, but like take into consideration that people are considering that it is going to run 4K 60. And for what Digital Foundry said, it isn't. It probably isn't going to. So like imagine the situation where people are right now excited thinking that I'm going to play GTA 6 at 60 FPS with 4K resolution. And then the console gets released, people are reviewing the console, and then no, you cannot play GTA 6 at 4K 60 FPS. So the excitement that people had before is going to drop a bit, and it's going to have the thoughts of, well, why don't I just wait for the next generation? Because yeah, let's be honest, the PlayStation 6, the Xbox Series X2, whatever the fuck it is going to be the name of it, like they are going to run amazingly well those games, honestly. But right now, if the PS5 Pro don't do what the hype is being all about to play GTA 6 at 4K 60 FPS, the hype is going to drop and people are not going to buy as much as they bought the PS5.
But that's never going to
Because-
happen anyways. Like the PS4 Pro didn't sell as much as the PS4 did. So
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what that's what I was saying. Like I consider these mid-gen refreshes like niche consoles. Let's like because it's not everyone that is going to buy. It's not everyone that has that amount of money to buy. Like oh, I bought this console $500 4 years ago. Now I'm going to be spending more. And the next 2 years, there's the next generation. I think I'm gonna spend $600 now. Like, not everyone's going to do that.
well, it's the whole iPhone thing, right? It's like, okay, whenever they announce, like when Apple announces a new product, they make the older variant cheaper, and not by much, but just because there's a newer variant that's more expensive, by default the older variant looks cheaper. So if this console comes out at $499 or even $550, now all of a sudden it's sitting side by side with the box for the PS5 Slim that is $399. So all of a sudden $399 looks that much more affordable for the average, soccer mom going in and buying little Timmy a console. So yeah, it's like, okay, this one does 4K, whatever, and this one does everything else. It plays all these games, but it's $100 cheaper. It may not play it as, on this 4K TV, but it's okay. My little Timmy doesn't have 4K TV. He only needs a $399 box. So little mom doesn't mind buying Timmy the $399
Yeah,
console.
we
So
brought
that's
little
also
Timmy
what they're
into it
trying to
again.
do.
And hence why the Xbox Series S was such a good move, honestly, because most people, the majority of gamers, they are not going to care about resolution. They are going to care about playing the next generation games. And yeah, even though like the Series S, when you get a PC with all the specs that the Series S has, is going to be way more expensive than the price tag that they are selling the Series S for. like you know that this is not going to run at 4K. It's going to be at most upscaled 4K, but the majority of the games is going to be 1440p, 1080p. There's going to be 60 FPS. Some games are going to have ray tracing, either in reflections or in shadows or just illumination whatsoever. There's going to be a bunch of games that are like 120 FPS as well, but like considering what this console can do compared to the previous generation, it's a powerhouse. Of course, it is going to be a powerhouse. But when you compare, of course, when you compare to the Series X and the PlayStation 5, it is a less it is less powerful. Like there's so many people that for some reason during the beginning of the generation were trying to say that the Series S was he probably more powerful than the PS5. It makes no sense whatsoever. The Series S is powerful for what it is, and on its own is an amazing console. I am really happy to have a Series S because I've managed to get into the next generation for a really affordable price to play next gen games, to have the next gen features, and I'm really satisfied with it. But to say that this game is going to run games better than the Series X and the PS5, no, it makes no sense whatsoever.
So the
As
big,
a okay, so I know Kate. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the big mistake that they made here is so we were already seeing frame rate issues with, and Vinny can attest to this too, as a fellow PC gamer like me. When you go up in resolution, it's like a seesaw. Okay, when you're down in resolution, you're more dependent on your CPU. Your CPU is your bottleneck when you go down on resolution. When you go up in resolution, that seesaw starts to tilt towards your GPU. So at 4K 60, your GPU is doing a lot of the work. At 1080p, your CPU is doing a lot of the work. Why? Because at 1080p, your graphics card can put out many, many, many more frames. And so that means your CPU has to keep up with all those frame calls for the GPU to keep the GPU fed. That's why we see a lot of people that do a lot of benchmarking. You'll find out whether or not you have a CPU bottleneck by going to 1080p because your graphics card is basically going to run like a racehorse and their CPU has to keep up. So
Yeah, you don't want a CPU bottleneck. You want it. If you're gonna get a bottleneck at all, it should be a GPU bottleneck because
correct.
then it just means your CPU is good, really good, but your GPU is just not can't perform at the height of your CPU. But that's okay. That doesn't really matter.
So
See, the problem I'm having right now is we still got games though that are running, like for example, famously Dragon Dogma 2 is running at sub 30 on PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
If they can give me a consistent 60 at 1440, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, of course. It's just
You
the
know?
marketing schemes of Sony and Xbox. They rather have focused on things like 4K and it's just like shit that doesn't really matter, but on the box it looks good, you know.
No, I mean it's easier. It's easier to sell a prettier picture than it is to sell a
Yeah,
higher
exactly.
frame rate. You can't sell a higher frame rate because that
Nobody
doesn't
knows what
translate.
that is, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
with,
no, my question.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
My question is, with what the specs again. I mean, I'm getting this. I know I'm complaining about the console, but I'm getting the console because I'm a strictly console gamer. I do not play on PC because I sit at a desk almost all day, and I don't want to come home and play my game on a desk. But
Yeah.
my question is, based off of the specs that they have announced, can we achieve a constant 60, or is that also not feasible?
Well, it just depends. It really like for games like Final Fantasy 16, where on performance mode the resolution was dropping to 720p and frames were dropping 40, 30 FPS. Yeah, you'll see a 60 FPS and you'll see it at a better resolution just because that's the GPU not being able to keep up with that higher resolution. For Dragon's Dogma, it really depends. Some people speculate the ray tracing global illumination is what's causing the performance issue. Which, if it is, a better GPU would make the game run better. But yeah, a lot of it just depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that what they need to kill, if they don't, I thought they were going to kill it this generation, and it's unfortunately not the case. And I hope they do it with the next official generation. They kill that 30 FPS thing, because that's bullshit. I mean, I would prefer 120, but there's no reason that games at minimum shouldn't be running at 60 these days.
For that to happen, they have to invest more in the CPU end than the GPU end. There's nothing wrong with the GPU right now in the Series X and the PS5. The GPU is good. It's just the resolution that they're targeting with the CPU that they currently have. It's limiting the console overall. Like, realistically, these consoles are like 1080p 1440 machines. They're not really made for 4K, but because console manufacturers want that 4K, they're gonna push the 4K more, which in the end gives us horrible performance midway through the generation.
I need to put like as well as the argument that yes, the hardware is one factor, but you need to take into consideration that optimization is the other half of it. So
Oh, of course, yeah.
nowadays production value for games has increased a lot from compared to the 360 era to this era, like production value to make the games has increased amazingly. It has been like everything is so much expensive. That's why so many indie studios are accepting to be acquired by big publishers, because they don't want to have to worry about the financial problems that comes with it, that we're going to invest a huge amount of money in this game, and if it is a hit, okay, we continue to work for another year. If it is a flop, we'll have to fire a bunch of staff here in our studio. Like, it happens especially with indie developers. Like, not just the technology has got better, the value has increased, but we need to be aware that developers have become lazier compared to the other to the previous generation. So we take into consideration developers that are now doing what? We are not having developers that for these free consoles we are going to make optimization only for the PlayStation 5, one optimization for the Series X, and another optimization for the Series S, taking into consideration all the capabilities of the console, taking into consideration their limits, taking into consideration all the features that we can use, as well as all the tools that have been released and that have been proven to be very useful into having a better performance and deliver a better experience. No, what they are doing is we're going to make an optimization for the motherfucking PS5, and with the same optimization that was done for the PS5, we're going to adapt it to the Series X, and then we're going to get this adaptive version for the Series X and scale down for the Series S. We're not getting necessarily good performance in the games, not just because of the hardware. We're getting because we are having bad optimization as well.
Well, I do have a pushback. I don't think that they're lazy. It's just that games have just become so much more expensive to make because payroll and whatever being what it is. I just don't think they have the time to
have limited resources. Yeah.
Right. Optimize to their heart content. Like, that's why first party games tend to be the showpiece for any console, because as you said, they're owned by the publisher and they have all the tools at their disposal and they can do whatever they want to do, and they're only developing for one, maybe two SKUs at most, three if they're developing PC. Yeah. So I don't think it's that they're lazy.
So,
but let me ask you a question.
Well, if you consider the King Kong developers, I think.
Well, that's a rare scenarios where independent developers are just trying to push out a game. They're not actually.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I do agree. Yeah, lazy was not the right. lazy was not the right expression, but yeah, we are having a situation where they need to put time and care for each one of these consoles, like, and like with so many games, some developers managed to nail it, others managed to like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you take into consideration like Capcom, for example. They have good examples of good optimization and bad optimization as well. I don't know how is that's possible. Like you got Resident, for example, on the Series S, you got Resident Evil Village. That game is well optimized for the Series S, honestly. It has the ray tracing mode, it has the 60 FPS mode. It looks really good, honestly. And then you have a game that they also released that is Street Fighter 6. And it looks really shitty when you are playing normally. When you are playing the story mode, the characters have way more detail, but when you are playing the arcades, the versus mode, like what the fuck is happening with the textures? What happened there? It's the Series S. Sure, the Series S is less powerful than the other consoles, but like, come on, guys, you proved to us that you are able to optimize games for the Series S. Why can't you do that as well here?
Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think about this whole big deal of the? I hate using the abbreviation because I'm a Cold War kid in the '80s, and PSSR sounds like some sort of Russian propaganda to me.
Yes.
Yeah, PSSR. When I first heard that, when I heard that on the podcast, when somebody was like PSSR, I'm like, what the heck is that? Is that something
Say
Russian?
fast. Say that fast 3 times in a row. Go.
PSSR, PSSR, PSSR. Yeah, it sounds like USSR. Yeah. So I mean, like, how does first of all, my question is, like, why in the heck? Like, you got DLSS and you got your AMD variant. Why are they making their own variant? It just seems, and also
they're doing this because of AMD's shortcomings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't. And DLSS is exclusive to NVIDIA as well. So, but go ahead, Bob.
So yeah, FSR is behind DLSS, and so Sony, in a partnership with AMD, is like, let us take care of this aspect on the PlayStation. And yeah, but at the same time, like I was trying to get in earlier, it just seems to me like the consoles are always a day late and a dollar short. So back when, if you look at the games that were coming out 2 to 3 years before these new consoles launched in 2020, you look at those games. Yes, Zen 2 was a perfectly fine CPU to use for those games to hit your 60 frames per second at 4K and to hit your 120 frames a second at lower resolutions. Zen 2 was perfectly fine. But do you know what came out the same month that these new consoles came out? These new consoles came out in November of 2022. Zen 3 came out. Baby. Zen 3 came out November 5th of 2020. I said 2022 for the consoles came out in November 2020, and Zen 3 released. And Zen 3 right now, Zen 3 is pretty much. So my processor is a Zen 3 Plus, and Vinny's is a Zen 4. And later in the second half of this month, Zen 5 is coming out. And this new console coming out is still going to have a Zen 2 in it. You see the problem
5
here.
years old.
Yeah, it's already 5 years old, the CPU.
But is it confirmed they're not going to tinker with it? Because they said they certainly might be incorporating some aspects of those higher Zens into their CPU.
In future consoles maybe, but this one, the 10% boost clock is probably the most you'll get out of the CPU. Like, same CPU, just 10% faster.
Yeah, it just these consoles are just they like I said before, it's a day late and a dollar short. They're coming out with tech that in the console space, if the most surfing or PC related stuff that you do is on your phone, surfing on your phone or using apps on your phone or something like that, then you're not really you're gonna think, oh wow, yeah, we're getting a Zen 2. He really should have They should have went with Zen 3 in this new
Off the bat.
yeah, off the bat. Because I'm sure Zen 3 was released to the public in November, so why couldn't they already had them in development? So why couldn't they have been thrown into the
Launch,
console?
yeah.
Yeah, the launch of the
Pricing.
consoles.
That's really what it was. It was pricing.
Pricing and wouldn't the backwards compatibility be a shoe again?
It'd be fine. It's the same. It's AMD CPU architecture, so x86, so it'd be all right. Like
So
I mean, like, yeah, they cannot make a console as so much powerful as a PC because they are going to sell it at a loss anyway.
they
So
were already selling at a loss too when they launched.
yeah. They always sell it at a loss. That's the business model.
But
Except for Nintendo.
and the
Yeah.
biggest
No. Like Nintendo is I don't know what kind of
Nintendo never
witchcraft
sells at
Nintendo
loss.
does, but
they
like
could sell 10
Jesus
games
fucking
and they'd
Christ.
make a
It's
profit.
called good fucking games. You know, that's all it is. It's called good fucking games.
No, but when it comes to the console, I mean,
Well, you know, their games do not require that much under the hood to run them. You know, you look up.
yeah.
Odyssey,
Maybe it is because they, instead of doing an actual traditional console, they went with a handhelds. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
maybe that's
But,
way cheaper, and like Nintendo fans will accept low resolutions anyway. So yeah,
But back to the PSSR. FSR 2 for some reason just isn't on console. I don't think I've ever seen a game that's running FSR 2. They're all reusing FSR 1, and I think PlayStation's is just kind of like, hey, we need to, if AMD is not going to do it, we're just going to do it ourselves.
So
And
that's a good
also
point.
another thing to note, AMD doesn't use AI with their FSR. They're still behind on that. So with Sony jumping on the opportunity, like, hey, let's make our own upscaler and let's use AI, which would be 100% better than FSR 1. FSR 1 is dog shit. Like it's like the worst upscaler you could have, and it's the only one available on consoles. Like I've never seen a game use FSR 2.
That
Well-
was
So
Digital Foundry
it's-
actually brought that up in their video that AMD is still doing all this stuff through software, and Nvidia has already moved on, and their machine learning is down to a hardware level now, and which makes it so much more efficient. And
AI, there's
Yeah.
AI learning with DLSS. Like they're so far ahead of AMD. It's crazy.
Well, let me say this. On the flip side of the coin, Microsoft has, with the leaked documents, they were going to release this. What was they call it, Brooklyn or something like that? I mean, they had a plan to release Brooklyn, which was a diskless Series X, and it was basically Series X without a disc. Maybe a different form factor what they showed. And rumors have come out, especially when that little financial meeting that they had, business meeting that they had earlier in March. Wasn't it in March or whatever? I don't know. Sarah Bond said that they are in developments for the new console. It's going to be the biggest generational leap you've ever seen. Blah blah blah. And I know some of that is marketing speak, but it brings up a pretty interesting point here, right? Microsoft is shying away from the mid-gen refresh, and instead going ahead and almost like 360, going ahead and jumping into the new generation before PlayStation is. So one aspect, this is just what everyone would say on the panel here. What would you prefer? Would you prefer like an 8 or 9 year console cycle where you have the base console and then you have a mid-gen refresh, or would you prefer all new generation of consoles coming out more frequently, like maybe in a steady 5 or 6 year cadence?
If you want performance, 5-6 years. It's the only answer. Like, because the tech is just getting so outdated so fast, and especially if they keep going the route with using 1-year-old CPU architecture.
I mean, go on, Vin. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, especially if they're going the route with using old parts, it's Like if you want performance, that's the route. If you don't care, just want a console, then 7 years is fine, I guess. But can't have both.
Nope.
Hmm.
Well,
But
I think the
like
market, but
I but
go
no,
ahead.
no, like it's just because answering your question there, like I wouldn't prefer either of them. I would prefer a mix of them, actually, of both answers. Like I am not necessarily a fan of the mid-gen refresh because it's not gonna sell so well. Some people are going to buy the console, and right after that there's going to be the next generation. They're going to think, holy shit, it's like, why did I buy this then? Why couldn't I wait for the next generation? And I think that it shouldn't have the mid-gen refresh, but I think it need to have this, like, quote unquote 7 year long generations, in my opinion, because yes, technology is moving fast. Yes, it is. But when it comes to buying a console, it's not something simple. It's not something that is that simple, honestly, because people want to play the next games. They want to play new games. They want to play new stuff, and they can only do that with console if they don't enjoy playing on PC. And like consider that, like, okay, in 6 years is going to end the generation. What about the people that was not able to buy the console at the beginning of it, and just as the ending of it and the next generation is right around the corner, they finally buy the console. Like there's people to this day I see on Twitter that people from Brazil that are now saying, I finally got my Series S. Finally I got to the next generation. And like imagine if next year here's the next generation, everyone, and he's going to look at his Series S, he's going to think, I've waited. I worked so hard to finally buy the console for this generation, and now they are going to be releasing the next one, and they are soon enough going to stop giving support to the console that I just bought. Why?
Gonna
So
happen
like I think that
regardless.
what? Sorry.
That's gonna happen regardless. Like
Yeah.
whether it's 7 years or 5 years, like people who buy
Yeah,
it
but
late
I
are
think I
always
think
gonna be
yeah,
behind.
yeah, I know, but I think people. Some people are going to be behind, of course, but like I think that at least give some time to them instead of like we're going to be releasing one console every 5 or 4 years and it's going to be in a row. Bro. Like some people are going to like what miss 3 generations in a row. Consider this rhythm, honestly. So I
Well,
think that they need to like at least give the chance to people to play more with the console that they just bought. Yeah, I think that 7 years, 8 years is not something that is going to damage the industry, honestly.
I
But
want
that's
to
my
say
opinion, of
I
course.
don't. I disagree. I think that back in the day, the atmosphere was kind of different with gaming. Now, you got people who upgrade phones every year. You got people who, or definitely at once every 2 years. Um, and if you could play all of the prior stuff on the current thing, that's fine. I mean, like if you look at
Yeah.
again the iPhone model, the Android model, they come out with new phones every year with new upgraded tech, everything like that. But it doesn't mean that they can't play the older stuff on the new. And there's equally amount of people who, when they see the new one come out, they go and get the old one because it plays everything they want it to play, and they can get it cheaper. So I think there's more appetite now in today's society for a more frequent release cadence than it was in the past. And I think the sweet spot is that 6 year spot. I think 6 years is enough to like those who really wanted it. Like the early adopters are going to get it the first week or first month or whenever they can. But then I think 6 years, you're pretty much hitting the top threshold of those who really wanted the platform really got the platform. And then yeah, then you start the new cycle again with early adopters and all that other jazz. So, and if they keep the backwards compatibility going, like all you can play all of your prior games on the new console, especially if they're going to a digital only structure, they have to do that, I think. So, like, I don't see where the problem would be. I mean, like,
And they wouldn't just stop supporting the older consoles right away. Like just like they did now, they support the Xbox One generation for at least 2 years. So there's overlap in that. So it like a shorter console generation doesn't really have a whole lot of negative or cons when it comes to the consumers.
It depends on on the pockets of the consumers.
well, yeah, that depends on the
Yeah.
pockets of it generally. But, hey,
Yeah, but if you give more time for them to buy, they have more time to enjoy, and it is one less regrettable purchase that they might have if they have more time to enjoy that instead of like, oh, just bought this. Oh, this next console. Yeah, I cannot buy this because I have this one right here. I'll wait for the next 2 generations to buy the console. Like that's my thoughts, honestly.
well, there's always buyer's
And
remorse, right? There's always once you buy something, you're always like you have that brief period, like when the fuck did I get this? So I mean, there's
no,
that.
no. But like it is going to be way quicker if they end up doing like 4 years of each generation, something like that. But like taking into consideration as well the support, like wouldn't you guys consider that people would start complaining more and more with each generation if they decide to do like generations quicker? Because like one thing that we saw from this generation is that we didn't have a lot of games that are next gen. We didn't see everything that these consoles are capable of, like in theory, considering the amount of technology that we have here, considering the amount of tools that developers have at their disposal that were announced, that are released, and people can buy the license and use them in their games. Like, we are seeing a lot of games that people are like, we had a lot of games that were also released on the previous generation. That was for a long time. This is the fourth year of this generation. People are already considering that next year is going to be the last. And the feeling that everyone has, or at least that a lot of people have, it is that like I actually didn't feel that this was a next generation. Like you remember what happened when we had the PS4 and the Xbox One? Like when you had the Xbox 360 and you play Gears of War, when you had the Xbox One, you play Rise Son of Rome for the first time, like that title that would make you think, wow, we are at the next generation. This is the future of gaming right now happening. And of course, Sony had so many great examples as well of great games that looked amazing throughout the PS4 generation, that look amazing as well in the
Hey,
PS5
Fabio.
generation. But like,
Fabio, we're gonna do
you know what I mean?
we're gonna do an outro real quick for Wise Old Gamer. He's got to go.
Yeah, I have
Okay,
a
sorry about that. Sorry
no
about
problem.
that. I just shut the fuck up here. Sorry.
Oh
No. I mean,
no.
actually, no. It's cool. I mean, you guys keep going, but I mean, yeah, I have to run because I have a dinner party tonight that I have to attend and
Sure,
stuff.
no
so,
worries.
yeah,
Very
cool.
good.
But guys, thank you for having me on. And yeah, we do a podcast as well every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern called Wasted with Wise. And it's basically a really relaxed podcast. KY has been on it several times. Basically, a bunch of guys and gals just getting together, a bunch of good friends getting together, drinking and shooting the shit. We talk about everything under the sun, gaming and nerddom related, like console games and comics and movies, and we just let the conversation just organically go where the hell it wants to go. We don't like, it's just a bunch of guys and gals getting together, and we always have somebody on the butcher block almost every week. This week I think we're going to get Newfawn and New come on for about an hour or so, but yeah, we have it's a pretty big panel. We have Cozy Beluga, Loke, Darth Praxis, Cerebral Paul, Supernova Gaming, and Triple Combo Gaming, Doomsayer when he sometimes comes in and out, Game Genie Prime when he feels better, prayers to Game Genie, and yeah, just check us out if you've not had a chance to see it. It's really relaxed. It's just a bunch of people just hanging out and having fun. So yeah.
Awesome.
And,
Check them
oh
out.
yeah, high sales, high ends. Yeah. But thank you for having me on.
Anytime, brother.
Thanks so much for being here, brother.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah. So yeah, just let me know maybe a day in advance. I'll go ahead and block it off if you need me again.
All right, cool. All right. Yeah. Have a good night,
All
sir.
right. Yeah.
Thank
See you
you.
later,
Yeah,
Bill.
great
Have a
night,
great
have a
night.
You too. Have a great show.
All right.
So, you see where I was going with that? Like, would you guys agree with
Well,
that
yes.
we are not having a generation that is like, wow,
Well,
just like we had previously?
it's technology is moving so much faster right now, especially in the PC gaming space, and that's essentially what these consoles are now, is they're living room PCs that do one thing. It's by the time things like back in the day, it was, we didn't get leaps and bounds from processors in a 6-year span like we do now in a 6-month span. And so back then, developers would work at getting every ounce of performance that they could out of hardware. But now things are moving so fast and things are getting exponentially more powerful from this generation of NVIDIA graphics to this generation of NVIDIA graphics. And the same on the processor side. From this Zen to this Zen, things are moving so fast that it's easier for the developers to just adapt to what's new than to stick around and grind at what's old to make it better. And I think that's really the issue we've ran into with console gaming right now is everybody's trying to catch up, but at the same time, they don't have the resources to go back and focus on what they had to make that better. I mean, sometimes you'll get some passion projects, some patches that may do a few things. That's not really a director from the company. That's just something somebody may have done on their own time and then presented it. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. It's value for the gamer. Let's throw that in there. But, yeah, it's just... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Bob. I was just going to say the whole notion that we haven't seen everything from these consoles. Like, we have. Like, this is like the cap of the consoles. This is as good as they're going to get. Unless they, like... No, I don't even think a pro console would really make much of a difference. Just because really the generation like capabilities is determined by the CPU. So if the CPU is like 7 years old, like in the PC space, if your CPU is 7 years old, like you're not playing a whole lot of games. Like
No,
especially when you consider the AMD counterpart of what the console's CPU is, the Ryzen 3 3700X. That's not even like a high-end CPU. That was like a low-range CPU from 5 years ago. So it's just like, we're at the cap. Generations are going to get shorter unless they increase the price of consoles. Like you can't have it both ways. Like you can have longer generations and get the more out of the consoles, but for that, like if you want performance and all that whatnot, like they're gonna have to put more expensive parts in these consoles. And even then, that doesn't guarantee like they'll last the entire 7 years.
And gaming is not driving this hardware boom that we're seeing from iteration to iteration. If you follow the stock market at all, you'll know that AI is driving this great hardware because everybody is just trying to get AI as fast as they can,
as soon as possible.
Yes,
like it's the biggest race you've ever seen.
It's crazy. That's why Nvidia stock right now was like $200 something in 2020, and now it's almost $1,000 a share.
Close to 900, yeah.
It's crazy. So, pretty soon these PCs are going to be playing the games for us. We'll just set it on autoplay, work on this achievement, and it'll just play it for us. Oh man!
So who knows? Maybe next generation the hardware will be better if it's AI accelerated. But like we just gotta wait to see what happens, right? Technology's changing, everything's changing. We're not like those who get left behind are gonna stay behind.
Thimber's using the i5 12th gen. Yeah, I mean that's not bad.
Yeah, that's
I
that's
wouldn't.
decent. Like
Yeah,
we still got a couple more years on it.
I wouldn't go. I would be looking for a CPU bottleneck if you went outside of the 20 series GPUs. If you went into the 30 series and the 40 series, you would definitely see a CPU bottleneck. But yeah, you should be all right, good up to like a 2080 Super, something like that. I would think.
Yeah. I would say even like a 3060 or even 4060 like might be fine.
Yeah. True dat. But yeah, wow. We got about 15 minutes left in the show, guys. Y'all want to go over the little bit of news that has dropped?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Sure.
So, yeah. So the Wonder Woman video game, VGC.
Okay, next.
Uh, so the Gotham Knights developer is helping on the Wonder Woman game, which doesn't bode well. Yeah.
Ah, great.
Yeah, we all know about Gotham Knights. It's one of those Rocksteady's fall from grace. But, you know, I mean, there are some diamonds in the rough. Ubisoft even had one. So, it's possible. And let's see what
Which one?
else.
Which one is the
The diamond and rough.
Prince of Persia?
No, the one before that.
Avatar?
Oh, I
Avatar?
forgot about Avatar. Yeah, Avatar was really good. No, the one before that, the one
you
where you're running around. I forget the name of it. The one where you got to find your bow.
Assassin's Creed?
No, the one where you got to find your bow and arrow and everything, and the gods have put you there to do.
Oh, Immortal.
Immortals.
Okay, Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Phoenix Rising. Yes,
Okay,
I always forget the name of that game. I don't know why, but I do.
It's because it's a bad name. It should be like a Monster something, and then Monster decided to sue Ubisoft.
It
for
should be
using
called
the
like Icarus, Messenger from the Gods, or something. But yeah.
name. Gods and Monsters, whatever the fuck it was supposed to be.
So Bandai Namco has released a Sandland demo. It is available for PC and
Ooh.
consoles. Yeah.
That's really fun. I like it a lot.
Really? Oh man, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
What kind of game is it?
It's a good game. Have you ever played like Kakarot or I'm trying to think of another Bandai Namco game that's kind of similar. It's a little bit like Kakarot.
I don't even know
where
what
it's like this
Kakarot is.
open- Dragon Ball?
You did it?
Oh.
You never heard about
It was like the Dragon Ball RPG.
Okay.
type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
that game that just it didn't work out so well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, it did decent. It did pretty decent.
Yeah. It was decent, but like it wasn't so well as you would expect it to be, honestly.
Oh yeah, it wasn't what people thought
Like
it was.
yeah,
gonna be.
but like it was okay. It is interesting, but like nothing like amazing. But the
Yeah, it
trailer
was
that they
pretty
released,
simple. Yeah.
but yeah, let's be honest, the trailer that they released for this next game, it looks really good.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
no, Kakarot's a good game. But Sandland is kind of like that, where I don't know if it'll be fully open world, but it's like you kind of play as the characters from the manga, and you travel around like tanks, mechs, like you can change on the fly, like the combat's really fun. Like it's a cool game. Like I suggest checking out the demo.
So the new Brooklyn console from Xbox has reportedly been certified in South Korea. The new Xbox dev kit has reportedly been certified in South Korea. Now, this is very interesting because if this is just a digital version of the Series X, then why does it have its own dev kit?
On dev kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a digital version. It's
It is.
it's probably a
It,
pro console.
it is the handheld. It is the handheld.
Apparently, it's way bigger than the Series X dev kit. I don't know if it'll be for that.
Wow, it is going to be that huge, massive handheld. Honestly,
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's gonna have a car
Like it-
battery.
like
oh
what
gosh.
what better way to do a handheld? Like what better way to do a handheld is instead of like just let's make a giant brick so people can carry around.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
imagine they made a handheld that's the weight of a car
Like
battery.
you can here's a handheld. It is just like the Series X with a OLED screen in the middle of it. Just exactly the same size, the same format, but just with an OLED screen at the side of it.
Oh man. And the Callisto Protocol developer reveals they have an action roguelike spin-off game. So it's called Project Birdseye, and it is set inside the prison from the 2022 horror game Callisto Protocol.
That's interesting.
Action roguelike. You know, it kind of sounds to me like they're going Splinter Cell style in Callisto prison. Yeah. That could
That's
be cool.
Like I
roguelike, I
didn't
think
play
is more
Callisto-
like
I
Hades,
didn't play
I think.
Callisto Protocol.
Original.
Is it good?
It's decent. I don't
yeah.
think it's a bad game. I think it's a decent game. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely, it was one of the first games that of this gen that I really thought looked really, really pretty. I mean, it was a very,
it looks
very
really good. Yeah.
good-looking
It looks
game.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So roguelike,
Combat's okay.
would you consider roguelike to be more of like a Metal Gear Solid type?
No, roguelike is like Hades or Returnal, where your character dies, you lose everything.
Oh, really? So, okay. Wow. That would
I mean, if they say it's roguelike, that's
Yeah, like that.
what
That's
they
the
mean.
roguelike model.
Wow,
Yeah.
that would be getting your. So if you die, you have to get back to where you were in the prison to get it back. That would be.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
more like if you die, you got to start all over again. But there's like checkpoints and
Either it's going to be interesting or it's going to be annoying as
Really
fuck.
annoying.
So, yeah. There's two options for this situation.
I think it's unique. Like if they get it right, like it sounds like it could be really fun.
Oh my God, we got a Noof Nukem in the
Yeah.
chat. What up, Noofy?
For one moment, I thought he joined us here in Discord. I
Oh.
was like, what the?
Oh, Noof said he'd like to join the podcast again, but the only reason that
Jump on
Coming
in.
back?
the only reason he left GameSet Live was because we went from a 9 o'clock time to a 7 o'clock time, and as soon as we went back to 9 o'clock,
We're
he was more
changing
than
that.
happy. Yeah, as soon as Bob
We are
can get
changing
back,
that. We are soon enough.
as soon as Bob can get back
soon
on
enough
day
coming
shift,
back to the original time.
we'll get back to 9 o'clock. That's right. I like
And
9
We are
o'clock.
going to be calling you.
At
Yeah.
9 o'clock, we get everybody in the chat who's already, they're already sauced up a little bit. They're loosened up. They're ready to party and, be funny. And everybody at 7 o'clock is so
just-
serious in the chat. Like, rah, 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 rah.
They just don't give a crap if we are saying shit. Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
But speaking of bad stuff, have you guys watched the? No, just kidding. It's not bad. It's actually it looks really amazing. Have you guys watched the trailer from that Captain America game with Black Panther?
Looks good. A
Looks
little
good.
thinking
It looks
summary.
good. You're really going to say it looks good. It looks like a movie.
It's-
It looks
yeah.
like real life.
It's
Yeah, it looks
does look
good.
good.
it's
Like,
rendered.
really, I know you have.
It's rendered and running in real time
like
in Unreal Engine 5.
Seriously, Vinny, I know you do have a PC that is going to be the main leader of the next Apollo project that is going to bring the Earth that is going to bring like human colonies to Mars. But like, for fuck's sake, you're going to actually say like, ah, it looks good, looks okay. Like seriously,
Mm.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, it looks good. It does look a little jank in some areas, like the walking and uh,
like
some of the
what
talking, but I mean, it's still in
I mean,
development.
what I
So
said. I mean, when I said that Vinny was like more Peter over than actual Peter over, I wasn't kidding. You see what I'm telling you? Like,
wow.
it's just so disappointing.
The truth comes out.
let me see some gameplay, and then I'll be impressed.
He's been he's been he's been more Mayhem games than actual Mayhem games.
If I want to watch a movie, I'll just go on Netflix.
There you go.
If I want to watch a movie, I just buy a PlayStation. No, just
Wow.
sorry. Okay.
Now that's
I'll
if you
stop
want
there.
to if you want to
Sorry.
play a movie, not watch one. If you want to play a movie, you get a PlayStation. Yeah. You know. I mean, Death Stranding was a great game.
Or you play, or you play Quantum Break.
Yes, exactly. You know, Quantum Break, the video file you can download for that is like almost 90 gigs. For so much video in that game, I forgot I was playing a game until it said, "Okay, do this," and you're like, "Oh crap, that's right, I'm playing a game." Whew. Oh, but on that note, guys, Fabio Amarim, sir, tell everybody where they can
Yo.
find you. I was about to say where you can find you, but hopefully you found yourself. Where can they find you?
I mean, wait, where am I?
Right?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what the? Okay, so yeah, you can find me not. Let me check it here. Yeah, okay, I'm here. Yeah, okay, I'll start with the jokes. With the bad jokes, yeah, but like you can find me not just here on the Game Set Live podcast. You can find me on the XPN Network YouTube channel. You can find me also on Twitter as FBOAmarine97, and you can find me on Xbox as Buffon Lizard 8.
All right. You heard it. Go check him out. You so Vinny, Vinster, sir. Where can people find you at? Yeah, on PC gaming these days.
Yep, all on PC, baby. I'm PC only nowadays. No, you can find me on Uso Vinny on everything, Twitter, whatnot, and Xbox, Steam, PlayStation. If I'm ever on Xbox and PlayStation again, but
Yeah, you will.
yeah, Uso Vinny.
Something will draw you back. Something will pull you back, Vinny. You'll do it. You'll do it. I know you will. Hopefully.
PlayStation did get that new UI update. They'll have live themes now, so maybe
Ooh,
maybe I'll
live
jump back on.
themes. Next gen.
Yeah,
That's next gen
mhm.
stuff, baby.
Next gen.
Yeah. A word from Game Genie Prime, which you may know as Mr. Bushido. He is hopeful that he will make next week's episode. Right now, it's kind of difficult for him to do, but he's going to try make next week episode, and I look forward to that. I really hope to see him back here, and I know everybody else would be glad to see him back here too. This
here.
is here. This is KY Bob. You can find me KY Bob on everything. Yes, Fabio, as you interrupted my outro. Go
No,
ahead.
I just as I so abruptly interrupt you, like you have the obligation. So then, if the moment Mr. Bushi comes back, you need to put your best Sniper Elite clips ever. Okay?
Gosh.
You have that obligation. We need to see Mr. Bushido just shitting on your gameplay footage.
Oh gosh. Well, next week's episode will probably be Dragon's Dogma 2, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Are you going to be? Are you going to play already? You bought it? Okay, well done, good sir.
I mean, I'm sure.
Sure.
I'm sure I'll die a lot, and everybody will laugh, and they'll have a good time, and I'll have a good time too, because I like making people happy. Oh yeah.
But And
Yeah.
and here I thought you was going to say I like to die.
Yeah, I like turtles. I like turtles a lot.
Who doesn't?
You know, I saw something on YouTube that I want to do one day. It's a part of my bucket list now. I want to take a little toy skateboard and I want to tape it to the bottom of a turtle and see if a turtle can actually move that fast if it's not being held down by the dragging of its shell. They put this little skateboard on underneath this turtle, and this turtle flew across the floor with just the power from its legs. I wanted to see if it's actually that fast. And then I'll really, really, really love turtles because I'll be like, damn, you got a bad shake there, fella. That shell, yeah, Lord didn't make your legs long enough. I can't believe he done that to you. Oh, okay. I digress. Yeah. But yeah, everybody like, share, subscribe, touch some grass, catch this show, the audio version, on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. And yeah, hug someone you love, appreciate them, play some games. We'll see y'all back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, right here on GameSat Live. Good night, everybody.